What is up, everybody? This is RybackStun. We've returned to Marvel Heroes. We are on the test center with Venom, and we've got some interesting stuff going on. First things first, as with all of these videos, this is test center. It's an early iteration. I am literally on at 1:30 in the morning on Saturday, just because I wanted to make sure I could get this out to you guys as quickly as possible. I'll make annotations and stuff on significant changes, but from what I've seen so far, his kit is fairly working. One problem is there are a couple things that don't have sound done properly. So this is, again, early build. Things are subject to change. Yada yada blah blah. Let's get to Venom. First things first, we're gonna look at the hero synergy. He's got at 25 3% health, and at 50 plus 5% damage if below 50% health. So that's gonna be a really good Ghost Rider synergy. And obviously Venom due to his mechanic. Now if you'll notice on the right hand side, you'll see that it's called Ichor, but it looks like Fury. I'm sure they're going to change this to be something that is Venom-related. But Venom has a mechanic in his kit that basically balances his health and his Ichor as two primary resources. Now you're going to say, oh, one of them is a secondary, one of them is a primary. No, they're both primary resources because the way you build your characters, you're either building him as a health-draining character, you're building him as a character that does health drain and Ichor. You can't necessarily do one without the other, because you can restore your health with Ichor attacks and you can restore your Ichor with health attacks. So to show you what I mean, there's three trees here: Lethal Protector, Monstrosity, and Symbiosis. You'll notice something on the right here on Symbiosis, that there are 6 powers that have mutually exclusive abilities to them, and I'll showcase each of those once we get to a point. But you'll notice that a lot of his powers are in Lethal Protector, and then he's got a decent amount in Monstrosity and Symbiosis. But if you look at it, really, you only have 5 in Symbiosis, where you have, I think it's 7 in Monstrosity, and then 4, 8, 9 in Lethal Protector. So this can be absolutely insane when it comes up to it. So, first things first, we're going to show the Lethal Protector tree. And I'll try and show as many of these mechanics as possible. Don't blame me if I miss something, because it is, again, 1:30 in the morning. I'm sure D-Gen's doing the same thing, and it's 4:30 in the morning for him, or something to that effect. Hungry Claws, basic. Regenerate 8% of your missing health on hit. So, boom, boom, boom. If I was missing health, it would be regenerating it. Next, we have the Tendril Lunge. It's physical damage. It's a basic melee movement. It's a basic. That's interesting. It regenerates 10% of your missing health on hit. So you can dash around. Notice there's no sound on this ability. You can dash around and restore your health as you do this. This actually might be pretty interesting if he's got the melee build solid, or the movement build solid enough for it. So these are two abilities right here that regenerate your health. Now, Dark Tendrils does physical damage, it restores your Ichor, and costs 5% of your current health. And notice how in parentheses it shows you exactly how much health it'll do. So if I were to just hit S forward, it would take a little bit of health out from me. And it doesn't update it immediately, but this specifically says 465, because I have 9,000 health right now. Boom! So now it's going to take 446 when I hit it. And if I hit it a couple more times, it's only going to take 393. But my Ichor would be rising if I had used an ability that cost Ichor. We've got Come to Venom here, which is physical damage, melee power, base damage, 10% for 8 seconds. That's pretty cool. It restores 250 Ichor, and at the cost of 20% of your health. This is a big hit. But it drags enemies towards you, and boom. So I can sit here and restore my health with my 2 basic attacks here, and it will it'll restore a moderate amount of health as I continue to do it. And notice how a lot of these are current health as opposed to maximum health. So, that's pretty nice. Deadly Maw. Here's our first Ichor costing attack. It is melee. It's called Ichor. It actually says Ichor in the tag. Physical damage plus 10% for each 25% of the health you're missing. So you want to build your Ichor by draining health and then activate this ability to do the extra 10% for basically 75% of your health missing. You can get up to 30% extra damage. 69 Ichor cost. So that was an F, right? Yeah. So you'll notice that the Ichor went down there, and it just continues to go down as I do that. And then I can use abilities to bring it up while maintaining some semblance of health and Ichor balance. So you'll notice that the Ichor went up as I used those attacks, and my health went down, and then with Deadly Maw, my health stayed the same, but the damage of it went up as I was missing health. So, Let's actually pop this over really quick. Next we have Infect. This is actually one of the more interesting abilities that I think he has in his kit. Passive effect, he regenerates 10% of his missing health when he attacks a weakened enemy. The active effect of this ability is physical damage twice per second, so it's a bleed, and it weakens enemies with a 115 Ichor cost. So this is one of your primary abilities that you'll probably be using to put together a balanced Ichor and health kind of trade-off. So we're going to hit the Q here, and you'll notice that my Ichor went down. My health relatively stayed the same. Let's do something that costs some damage. Why is that? That's not the right button. This is health cost. There we go. So we hit Q. It costs the Ichor, but then I'm gaining extra health because I'm hitting weakened enemies. And then I can continue to do that with stacking some Ichor, drop that together, put the Ichor on, spend a little bit more Ichor, and then just gain it with the abilities that spend health. Next we have Tendril Barrage. It does physical damage 4 times per second. It has 1% extra damage for each 1% attack speed. It regenerates health when you defeat an enemy, and it has an ongoing Ichor cost of 46 per second. So you'll notice he just sticks the tendrils out there. It's pretty neat. And just continuously, you know, restores your health when you defeat an enemy and ongoing Ichor cost. Next we have Web Swing, which I think is actually really cool. It's a melee movement. It's physical damage. It has a knockdown duration. It restores Ichor, and it costs 10% of your current health. So you just do the web sling like Spider-Man does. Boom. And all that lovely stuff. The last lethal protector power is on my second bar. It's called Hungry Maw. You leap forward, forming the symbiote into a terrifying giant maw. Throws of wickedly sharp teeth. Physical damage, knockdown duration. It regenerates 1400 health immediately and has an Ichor cost of 230. So this is your big heal. If you that was not the right ability. If you really need the health, you can, boom, spend a lot of Ichor to do so, and then you have yourself covered for those abilities. So that's Lethal Protector. I need to restore my Ichor really quick. There we go. Okay. So next we have Monstrosity. Monstrosity starts with Symbiote Surge. It's ranged Ichor attack. It has physical damage. Damage 10% for each 25% of your health missing. Rate of fire of 2.1 per second. And an Ichor cost of 55. So, it's actually pretty fast. And it's just a line drive. So there is that. Next we have Predator's Web. It does physical damage. It slows. It's an enemy vulnerability. It restores 100 Ichor and costs 0.7% of your current health. With an area duration of 5. So you drop that, gain your Ichor back for a low health cost. I think that's pretty damn good return on that. That's probably going to get changed to either restore less Ichor or increase the health cost, but who cares? Anyway, we got Web Snapshot. This is physical damage. It's your ranged basic. It restores 8% of your health, missing health, and boom. So that's a ranged basic. Next we have Web Barrage. It restores 50 Ichor. It costs 5% of your health, and it does physical damage. So it's a slower Web Barrage than Spider-Man's, but it does hit harder. We have Web Swing, because Venom needs a Web Swing. We have Amorphous. Now there's different abilities. I'm not going to use this specifically right now, but it is your crowd control duration immunity, and it has different effects based upon symbiosis exclusion powers. So we'll show those in just a second. And last thing we have here is Writhing Tendrils. It's physical damage, immobilize, it's a ranged area Ichor attack. Ranged power-based damage is 10% for 8 seconds, and it has 138 Ichor cost. Cooldown of 4 seconds. Boom. So, next we have the 2 active powers in the Symbiosis tree. One is the Symbiotic Spikes, and the other one is Parasitic Tendrils. Now, Parasitic Tendrils is another interesting power, because it does physical damage twice per second, it drains 3 targets maximum, but it also restores Ichor and health on hit. So, I won't be able to show you health just yet. Let me try. There we go. And I need to do something that spends Ichor. Crap. There we go. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to show you the Parasitic Tendrils. Boom. No sound animation, but you'll notice my Ichor and my health are continuing to rise. And it's just a focus power that you can hold on to and target certain things, and they just randomly go out. Now, this one doesn't look like it can be a selected target. It's just picking different targets, and it's probably just going to pick whatever's in range. That's interesting. This power is a little buggy, but we'll continue showing off other powers. Next, we have the signature, which is Symbiotic Spikes. Physical damage has a cooldown of 25 seconds, and it's supposed to drag you drag the enemies towards you, but because these are dummies, it doesn't actually work. But you notice he does a nice amount of damage for having no gear, and has a cooldown of 25 seconds. Now, Maximum Spider, that was interesting. They haven't done We Are Venom. He has these powers here, which are specifically... I forget what the word is for it, but it's basically if you take one, you can't take the other. So, for example, We Are Indestructible and We Are Unstoppable. We Are Indestructible gives you regeneration when you use Amorphous Adaptation. It gives you your passive effect is specifically negates 20% damage, it increases your maximum health, you regenerate, and it regenerates. It gives you a revival effect, and when you're below 35% health, you regenerate a lot of health per second for 3 seconds. This power, We Are Unstoppable. You negate 50 damage for 2 seconds when you activate Amorphous. You negate 20% damage. You have a lower defense rating. Your health cost reduction is reduced by 2.5%. And for 10 seconds after being dealt a killing blow, your health cannot be brought down below 1. Wow, that's nice. So, and then when you're below 30% health, your damage is negated by an additional 20%. For We Are Powerful, you cower all nearby enemies for 1 second when you activate Amorphous. I believe, yeah, Amorphous, there we go. Melee powers have a 25% chance to fire Symbiote Surge. You and your allies gain gain toughness, and then you also have damage rating for melee powers and crit rating for any melee power, and your melee damage against you is negated by 5%. We Are Cunning gives you are invisible for 2 seconds when you activate Amorphous. You gain power, and your damage rating and crit rating goes up for ranged powers, and your projectile deflection chances up by 5%, and your ranged powers imply Infect, which I believe was this one of these. Yeah, there we go, Infect right there. So that's that. Then we have the last set, which is We Are Lethal. When you activate Amorphous, you gain 250 Ichor. You have plus 5% damage for Ichor powers. You have an additional 20 Ichor, and your Ichor cost reduction is 3%. It is reduced by 3%. We Are Legion is you instantly create 3 symbiote spawns when you activate Amorphous. 25% when you spend Ichor to create a symbiote spawn. Your symbiote spawns deal physical damage, and they regenerate 70 Venom's health per hit. You have a maximum of 3 spawns with a duration of 15 seconds for each. So you've got your... On the left side, it's your heals, your melee, and your increased Ichor. On your right side, it's your defense with extra damage, your range damage, and then your spawns, which is actually kind of interesting. People were talking about some spawns and some invisibility stuff, and each of the different things get that. So Venom has got this precarious knife's edge balance between health and Ichor, and it's going to, again, like X-23 was in the last patch, this patch I think Venom is also going to be a very high skill cap character because you're going to need to balance the health and Ichor pools, essentially. And one of the things about it is that he's going to be using stuff probably like his own medallion and possibly Extremis Serum if it comes out to be good enough. Probably not, though. But if he gets the Thunderbolts insignia, which we don't know as of yet, I don't know if they've even shown us. He can use Avengers, Fantastic Four, and S.H.I.E.L.D. Not entirely sure why he can use Avengers and Fantastic Four. This might not be completely correct, so please don't take this as 100%. Obviously, he can use S.H.I.E.L.D. Everybody can use S.H.I.E.L.D. But if they do end up changing it so that he can use Thunderbolts, then one of the things that's going to end up happening is that he can use Penance, which is going to be a good thing. Last but not least, we have an ultimate, physical damage twice per second, coming soon! The ultimate has been disabled for this build of the test center, so I'm not going to be able to use it to showcase it to you, which is kind of sad, but that's okay. I will make a separate video for how the ultimate works. So, it's a long-winded video, a lot of stuff to cover with Venom. Hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did showcasing it to you. Remember to like and comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Tumblr at RybackStun. More videos as they come along with that. This is RybackStun, signing out.